to plant surveillance inside the Watergate.
You are White House employees on the payroll. For God's sake, don't get caught.
With so much content available on various different streaming platforms, there are a lot of talented people to put out there, whether we're talking about actors, directors, collaborators, to tell many stories, especially ones that have to do with historical events. Max's new miniseries, White House Plumbers, stars Woody Harrelson, Justin Theroux, and Lena Headey. It's a 5-episode look at the men behind the Watergate scandal. It looks at E. Howard Hunt, played by Woody Harrelson, and G. Gordon Liddy, played by Justin Theroux, and how they came to be behind one of the biggest presidential scandals in history. In checking out how this series is classified, it's described as a biographical, historical, kind of drama series, which is ironically laughable, as there is a pretty distinct comedic take on these men's characters, lives, etc. This makes classifying who this is intended for a bit difficult to determine. Now, I'd say if you're a fan of ironic lookbacks, humorous depictions of history, you'd be the main target audience for this. And if I'm being honest, probably most left-leaning folks or anti-establishment people will also be in the wheelhouse for this. I personally like historical looks at things. Shows or movies like History of the World or Drunken History are great. But this series masquerades itself as a drama series that's a fictionalized version of events that tell the story. Now, I can't call myself a target audience for this because either I need my history to be satired or parodied completely, or to be a drama developing the story behind the people, not both. Therefore, I'm going to classify myself as a casual viewer on this one, but I'll try and give main target audience perspective as well. You see, I watched the first 2 episodes of new series and content out there to see if it's worth your time. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe, and let me get into this review for you. The miniseries White House Plumbers has 5 episodes that run about 55 minutes each. It premiered in May of 2023 on Max. When looking at this series, it seems to want to claim it's more like the 2008 movie Frost Nixon, or maybe even the 1995 version of Nixon. But it's more close to the 1999 Dick. So understand that as the premise, and you'll have the right concept to watch this particular series. In a historical look at something like Watergate, especially a comedic look, a casual is going to look for funny or brilliant satirical take on the scandal. Also, if the direction for the series is to look at the lives of the men behind it all, you want to go ahead and actually give some gravity to their thought processes and what they think. Why did they think like this? What was their motivation, etc. Since everyone knows the broad strokes to the scandal, you also need to bring a fresh perspective to the story. Let's see how they do here. The heavy lifting of this series lies on the backs of its stars Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux. Their portrayals of these characters is buffoonish, patriotic clowns. E. Howard Hunt is a down-on-his-luck former CIA operative that wants another chance to prove he's worthy of recognition. He's a typical family man of the 70s, where he hides his feelings, especially to his family. He has to be the breadwinner, he has vices, and he's loyal to his friends and country. The way that he's written, I think Harrelson does a good portrayal. I just don't like the way that he's written. Everything about him says I'm a mess and I probably should be demoted and work my way back up. But because he's a known commodity to a former boss, he's given away to a high-stakes assignment and then kind of fails upwards. Now, speaking of bad guys, Justin Theroux plays G. Gordon Liddy. He's an ex-FBI, very by the book, follows orders family man, with a ridiculous admiration for Hitler and the Nazi regime. Theroux does a bit better job portraying Liddy, as his character is just funnier overall. But again, I don't like the characters. And I'm sure people that understand the scandal are saying, of course you don't like them, they're not likable guys. That may or may not be true, but the cartoonish portrayal against the real historical situation does not give me a good idea of if that's true or not. So for acting and characters, I'll say the majority of the actors give good performances of who they're given, but the characters are not well written. Now, in regards to the story, these two guys are entrusted with projects to get information on some political opponents, then to help re-elect Nixon.
Of action, your new mission is to make sure he wins this election.
What are we talking about here?
So there's some good perspective given here in discovery of what happened leading up to the Watergate break-in. That's new, and I have a feeling both casuals and main audiences will like having this fresh perspective and vantage point. You can see how a bit of desperation on Nixon's part, along with political standings at the time, culminated in this dumb, illegal idea. As the series tells us, the successful break-in was the fifth attempt. There's definitely a comedic aspect to the entire idea, but there are also real-world crimes and drama.
Somebody needs to clean this mess up. You want us to break in a fourth time? Wait, what do you mean a fourth time? Nothing. Spy talk.
So I'm going to give them kudos for giving this perspective on this historical story. General feelings I kind of have, just general thoughts about the show. Now, it's always fascinating to see how things operated in a gone by time. A lot of things that occurred back then couldn't occur now. The fact that things like cell phones, internet, etc. would have significantly helped them to do their jobs better back then was just fun to see. The fact that these guys could have had any of those modern conveniences would have helped them not be as clownish and buffoonish as they are in this series. So that was actually something fun and interesting to look at. Also, the family dynamic of the so-called typical American family back then was simple but so toxic. So that's another thing that's something to notice and latch on to. So those are my general thoughts. Let me give you this verdict. For main target audiences, I'm going to go ahead and actually say you're going to probably want to binge the whole series. I believe most people that would want to watch this are people that are or were against Nixon or right-wing politics. Also conspiracy theorists, anarchists, etc. This series plays right into that. The acting is done well. The story is a fresh perspective that will probably entertain main audiences throughout. For casuals, I'm going to go ahead and actually say watch one episode. Good acting and fresh perspective is the main calling card to giving this a try. Even knowing the end result, casuals will be entertained by the absurdity of Harrelson and Thoreau's character, and looking back at that part of American history has entertainment value as well. But all you'll need is just one episode to determine if this is for you or not. So again, for main target audiences, go and actually binge out the whole series. For casuals, give it in one episode, watch and see if it's for you. And that's what I have for White House Plumbers on Max.
Plumbers?
We fix leaks.
I appreciate you taking the time to go and actually let me do this review for you. As always, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. If you would even be so kind, maybe you could go ahead and actually check out one of my other reviews that I've done here. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.